Hi, my name is Lara and welcome to my channel, Inner Goddess Guidance. I created this channel for people who are really doing the work of self-healing on the journey, on the path to self-mastery. And many of the people who are here on the channel are divine feminines on the twin flame path, as I consider myself. This is part of my mission. And so it has been a really rough week. Since the eclipse on the 27th, the full moon and eclipse, I sort of was thrown into a little bit of a tailspin. I don't know if you guys were too, but I really, really was. And I got very deeply up in my head, and I call it diving deep when I do that. Some of that I think is extremely helpful and good. I think it's a lot of purging and it's a lot of sorting. And it's sort of like when you do deep cleaning on your house, like it's not a lot of fun to do, but you got to do it every now and then. And so for me, that was what kind of this energy was like. The other image that comes to me was driving in fog. I don't know if you've ever driven in fog, but I live in the Pacific Northwest, and we do get times when the fog banks are quite thick. And I was realizing this morning, as I was considering sort of next steps with the channel and things I wanted to change, and where I've been the last week, that I really felt like I was trying to navigate through a thick bank of fog while relying only on my vision, what I could see. And that, how if you've ever been in a situation like that where you're trying to drive and you can't really see, it's very confusing. And then, in order to sort of compensate, what you do is you get super up in your head. And that's where I was. I was super up in my head. And when I get in my head too much with my thoughts and my judgments, my sorting, that all that sort of difficult stuff, trying to determine what is mine, what is programming, what do I want to sorting through, what do I want to keep, what do I want to throw away. Um, I I forget to navigate with my heart. I forget that my heart space really does have a knowing that is completely different from what my head does. And so for me, I don't know what it's like been like for you, but for me it was a really challenging week. And but good in the end. Here I am on the other side of it. I know that just in a few days we're going to enter the Lion's Gate, and I don't really know much about all of that. I rely on what I learned from tarot readers and astrologers, sorry. Um, but anyway, I know that that is a time of change and I think, like new stuff, right? So this was like maybe the purge before the new. That would be nice. Because, as much as we need to purge, as much as we do need to do that sort of deep cleaning and go into closets and sort out clothes and, really sort of clean in the corners and under the bed and things that don't get cleaned that much, and that's sort of energetically and emotionally and in all kinds of ways what I felt I was doing. It's just a lot of work, and it's not always a lot of fun. But when you're sort of done with it and you look back and you're like, phew, that was a lot of work, but it was worth it. Anyway, so some quick changes. I have been working on a project with some of you, and with people in a closed Facebook group on creating an oracle card deck. And it's our own oracle card. So in the process of creating the cards, we are really considering the themes and the ideas and then how they apply to us. And the process of doing that is very deep and very healing. We use our creativity in creating the cards, whether that's through digital art or through crayons, which is sometimes where I go, crayons and colored pencils. But there's no sort of limiting on that. You can do whatever you want in creating your cards, and the creativity helps us get in touch with our intuitive knowing. It frees up, sort of connection with spirit, and it's really good and healthy and healing. So been doing that as well, and I invite you to join the Facebook group if you'd like. There is a link in the description box. Please join us. Wow, what amazingly supportive women are in there. They are so non-judgmental and accepting and creating space, and each one of us has our own gifts and our own perspectives, our own piece of the puzzle, and it's just created such a nice support system. It isn't a place where we're talking about twins. I can't recall one conversation that was focused on twins or any of the other sort of aspects of this journey. Really just focused on our own healing and our own work, and then supporting each other in that and celebrating each other when there's a beautiful card and people share it and share their ideas. It really is just wonderful. So if you are looking for a supportive system with your own healing and that process sounds fun or interesting to you, come check it out. All you have to do is apply or put in a request, and then I will let you in the group. So I decided just the other day that I really wanted the channel to be almost a daily thing, and I hadn't been feeling it daily. And the reason why is because I was mixing the oracle card talk with what I wanted for the daily guidance. So I have decided to shift that. And what I'm going to do is I will be doing a daily guidance type thing where I draw a goddess oracle card and a healing card, or a some sort of other oracle card that can assist us on the journey. And through those two things, we'll talk about it just briefly, and then that will be it for the day. So hopefully keeping it under 15 minutes. And then when I am focused on a topic that is one of the oracle card topics, that will be a separate video, and I'll make it clear, oracle card creation, and then the topic for that. And so today we're just going to delve right into asking Spirit to come enter this space with us and draw a goddess energy of the day. And I would suggest you use that goddess energy maybe in your journal. And so you might think about what the goddess represents for you. Maybe you have your own connection to that goddess. You could do your own research. You could just listen for the themes that come out and resonate with you. A lot of times, and with this particular deck, questions will be asked. And so you could write the questions and respond to them. And then through the healing card and the oracle, we'll do an affirmation for the day. And then I suggest at the end of the day, you go back to your journal, sort of think at the end of the day, last 10 minutes or so before you go to sleep. Just reflect on your day and any ways that energy was, or the affirmation, how did you process through the day, like in that particular, focused on that particular thing. And then make sure to write a gratitude or two, because that's a really healthy, wonderful, wonderful way to go to bed at night, just leaving your brain with a positive thought. It's such a beautiful way to fall asleep instead of thinking about all of our problems and things like that. So let's call in Spirit. Dear Spirit of the universe, of love and light, please be with us in this time and space as we focus our collective intention on gaining wisdom and guidance for our journey toward healing and self-mastery. We ask for open hearts and minds to receive the messages that will serve our highest and best good. In the service of healthy love in all forms, with deep gratitude. Thank you. So I am still using the Goddess Oracle by Amy Sophia Mershinsky and Juana Chanto. I need to get this off for a second. Why is it? There we go. There we go. Hopefully I'm still recording. Something popped up on my screen. Dear Spirit, please give us one Goddess Energy, Goddess Oracle card for the day, a message for guidance for our day. One message, please. There it is. Shakti, energy. And a great one. We were talking in the Facebook group the other day about all the chakras and how we need a card for each chakra. Talk about balancing energy. So Shakti. I am the ultimate source, dancing through all forms. I am the animating force vibrating the world into being. I activate, invigorate, potentiate. Let me fill you with cosmic ecstasy. Let me reconnect you, recharge you, renew you. I am the sweet bliss honey nectar that snakes up your spine, connecting all your chakras into one big orgasmic orgy of power, vitality, energy. In Hindu India, Shakti, the goddess, is active, powerful, vital, the animating force of the universe. The masculine is the passive, inert, dominant force. Each Shakti has her god with whom she unites in sexual union. Without union, neither can do anything. To the tantric mystics, the ultimate union with Shakti happens at the moment of death. Shakti, portrayed here, seated within the luminous world egg, is protected by the serpent Kundalini, the emanation of her own divine energy. Shakti explodes into your life to energize and vitalize you. The way to wholeness for you now lies in learning to work with Shakti, divine, cosmic, orgasmic goddess energy. Have you been feeling tired? Do life and all its demands exhaust you? Do you keep giving your energy, your vitality, without taking in, recharging, revitalizing? Perhaps there is something you want to manifest, but don't feel you have enough energy to do it. Shakti says there is abundant energy available for you. All you need to do is learn how to connect with it. Beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. Shakti. And she's using her breath. Can you see through her nose? Using her breath to move that energy. Now, I know that Aluna Ash does some great meditations and has a great breathing exercise for connecting with Shakti and moving that Kundalini energy up through the chakras. I really think that um, our essence, this divine life force essence inside of us, this energy is very much a sexual energy. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So let that be alive and move in you and connect with it. Um, there's a group that I have explored, and you might choose to explore it too. Um, it's let's see, the practice is called OM, OM. It is called orgasmic meditation. And you can explore that if you are interested. Practitioners of that particular form of meditation um, are partnered. There's usually a male and a female, although it doesn't have to be that way. It is primarily focused on female, feminine orgasm. And the group is called One Taste. And the woman's name is Nicole Daedone. And I think you can look her up. She has a TED Talk that I found several years ago, probably 5, 6 years ago, on this particular practice. There are groups all across the United States who practice it. You should do your research, find out about it, and see if that's something that interests you. Um, of course, there's all kinds of tantric groups, and tantra isn't always about partnered sexual activity. It is about an energetic exchange, though. And so, if you explore Tantra and are interested, um, there are many different ways to do these groups and ways of connecting. And that's often through breath and through eye contact and connection. Another beautiful way to work with your Shakti energy and really connect with other people who are doing the same thing, whether they are twin flames or not. Um, so you might explore those two things: orgasmic meditation, or OM, it's called. Through One Taste is the name of the group, and Nicole Daedone is the woman's name. I'll put a link to her video that explains that. And then through, Tantra groups, and you can get involved in various groups as well. At least I know here in Seattle there are several to be in touch with. Shakti. And then, of course, through Aluna's through her meditations and stuff like that, explore that. Yeah. A lot of people use sexual energy to manifest too. So, and I know that there's information available on that as well. I don't have it. I'm not an expert in that. But anyway, I do think that we have some in our society here, especially, but I think all over the world. But anyway, here, especially in the United States, we have some blocks to our understanding or some fears around sexuality. And certainly many people, many of us have been traumatized or injured around our sexual energy, our sexuality. And healing that is important. Um, Finding ways to heal that. I did one time go to a tantric healer. I had a session. So that's another thing. You can look up tantric healers and explore that again for yourself and see if that's something that sounds like it would be helpful to you. One of the things I remember about my experience with a tantric healer here in Seattle is that massage was a part of my session. And during that time, he was speaking to my body. And one of the things that he said was very, very powerful to me and evoked quite an emotional response in that moment. So he was speaking to my body, saying, "Thank you, legs, for holding Lara up," or I don't remember exactly how it went. "Thank you, feet." I mean, it was just sort of each part of the body was being acknowledged and thanked. And then he apologized for anything his brothers had done that had caused any hurt or pain or injury. Um, and that's the way he said it. "I want to apologize to you for any pain or injury that my brothers have done that may still cause you lasting hurt." And I wasn't, I was completely unknowing of what a tantric healing session was going to be like, except for whatever we pre-session we'd had. But when he said that to me, the sincerity and the healing that came through his words. So whereas it wasn't the actual person that had caused me harm, it was sort of a collective. He was sort of standing in for the divine masculine, and it was amazing just to hear those words. "I am sorry for any injury," and it caused then a release from me, um, some deep crying. And it was good. It was good purging. So I bring that back because it's connected to the Shakti energy, because when we do get blocked by those injuries, and we do have in our society some, not just personally, but then we have these societal taboos around talking about sex and sexual energy. And so a lot of us, I would actually say it's probably the rare person that doesn't have to do some healing around sexuality. And so anyway, and that's related to Shakti energy, because if you're blocked there, you can't let that flow, and that healing has to happen. And there's lots of pathways to that healing. So explore them. I encourage you to explore them. Okay, so now from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty. I used these the other day and I thought they were so nice because of the way that they have an affirmation on the back. So, Spirit, will you please give us one card from The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beatty? If I said Melanie, I meant Melody. Melody Beatty. What a beautiful name, Melody. I think this is it. Taking risks. Today I will ask God to help me begin to take healthy risks. I will ask for assistance in letting go of my fear of failure and success. I will ask for help in fully living my life so that I can start experiencing all the wonderful parts of my journey. So today I will ask whatever is your higher power, Spirit, God, Yahweh, the universe. Today I will ask the universe to help me begin to take healthy risks. I really like putting the word healthy in front of everything now. Healthy. Healthy boundaries, healthy love, healthy relationships, healthy communication is so important. Healthy diet. By the way, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but with this energy that's gone on in the last week, have totally lost my appetite for and my tolerance to alcohol. I had my aunt and uncle visited last week, and they brought some wine with them, and I just couldn't drink it. It's the strangest thing. It just sort of has fallen away. So I find that interesting. Even just a little bit was sort of clouding. I was very conscious of just a sip or two clouding my head and not feeling right anymore. So And I have loved my drinks, so it's a change for sure. So taking risks and Shakti energy, I think that we do, especially when we're thinking about um, sexual energy, which I consider our life force energy to be very related to our sexual energy. Um, that taking risks to heal that, it can feel very risky to delve into those areas to any degree. When I did the tantric healing, it was certainly a risk. It felt very different for me, but I'm really glad that I did it. So a good affirmation for the day, maybe today I will begin to take healthy risks. Today I will ask for help in fully living my life. Today I will start experiencing all the wonderful parts of my journey. Today I will maybe take the risk of really looking at the sexual aspects of myself, my sexual energy, my Shakti energy. So I don't know what's going on with my computer. I sure hope this got got recorded correctly. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope that wasn't too long. And we're just going to leave it there, and I will be back with a different video that is focused on the oracle cards. So thank you to all of you, and have a beautiful day, and happy healing. There we are. So quick addendum. Sorry, I'm back. One, I noticed that the whole thing is kind of glitchy when I watched it back, but I don't want to redo it because I think it's an important one, and then it's all messed up because I have to ask for a totally different message. And two, I remembered something upon watching it that relates these two things. And that's this, the group that I was in that was sort of like before the Oming group. I forgot what it was called. It's a part of the, it's part of like showing up to like, you didn't have to ohm if you weren't a part of that group yet. You could just show up and do these games, sort of things that you would play. And I will never forget, these games were meant to be very spontaneous and have people show up very authentically. And you could definitely feel when you were playing them or responding, they were mostly sort of verbal things like finish the sentence. And it might start with something as simple as your name and a sensation you're feeling in your body at that moment. But they progressively got a little bit more risky in terms of being authentic and showing yourself, although you could totally lie and nobody would necessarily know, but that sort of defeated the purpose. But one of the games, so you would be in a group. There was a group of men and women, all different ages, and they would show up, and one of the games was called the hot seat. And I'll never forget it because I think it was the first or second time that I went when, probably the first, when I was asked to sit in the hot seat, which was basically that you're sitting up in front of the whole group and they can ask you any question they want. And you aren't to respond with a big long story about something, but just, really authentic in the moment. And I remember feeling very flushed, so my energy was flowing because, I was embarrassed. I was, sort of the sweaty palm thing where I felt really nervous. And I remember one of the first questions was, how are you feeling? And I was like, I feel nervous. And somebody raised their hand and asked the question, why are you nervous? And I said, because I'm worried about judgment. And they would pursue those lines. Why are you worried about judgment? Or what I'm feeling self-conscious. And I was like, well, there's a bunch of people I don't know looking at me and asking me questions. The great thing was though that honestly, I felt in that moment like a great rush of energy. And
And I think that was the point of those games, was to push people slightly out of their comfort zones, not enormously out of their comfort zones, just slightly, because if you were asked questions in the moment, you couldn't sort of prepare an answer. You just answered in the moment what came to you and what was your truth in the moment. It made for a very authentic interaction, and I wish I could just remember what those games were called. Let me just see if I can quickly look that up for you. So they're games related to Om. I don't remember what they were called. Darn it. It was a whole group, and it could be a one taste group, but I'm not positive. One taste games. Turn on. That's what it's called. Turn on communication games. So, and it says truth is the greatest turn on. And so you may find in your area where you live, if you go to Meetup or something, you might find the turn on games. And the thing about the turn on games is that you don't have to be an Om practitioner in order to go to that. It's sort of like a mixer, a little bit like that. But a lot of the people who will be there will be practitioners of Om, and that way you can sort of get to know what that's about, if you feel comfortable or not. But remember, it is about stepping outside of your comfort zone. It definitely, I could feel the energy flowing in me because I was taking risks. I was stepping outside of my comfort zone. And so what I wanted to say to you or add in is that this Shakti energy, there is this life force energy, and showing up in the moment and being truthful and taking those risks very much does help you get that energy flowing. And it was important upon rewatching the video that I add this little piece in. So turn on games. Not with your friends, you know, this isn't something you do with, although you could, but you know, it really is something to try your hand at with strangers. It's a safe risk. You're not gonna, you'll be safe. The people there are usually, you know, in my experience, were very kind, very open, very supportive, very aware that when you were first there, if it was your first time, that it can be a little scary. And so, again, they're not, well, what I would say is that those games could push boundaries a little bit, but in a totally okay way. At least it was totally okay for me. So, there you go, turn on games. Okay, that was the last tip. And now I say it official. Goodbye.